Good morning children. In today's class we have to study about the electrostatic potential energy followed by electrostatic potential. So let us recall few topics from the past, assuming that you are given a charge object having the charge Q and there is some charge Q naught placed over there. I take this charge as unit and positive charge. So what will happen to Q naught? What type of force will it experience? It will experience a repulsive force. That means this charge is having a tendency to repel Q naught charge, and this actually is the electric field line also of this charge. I am calling this charge initially, that is given as the source charge, because it is the source of electrostatic force, or I can say that okay, it is a source of electric field. Q naught I am going to call as the test charge, because it is the charge which is going to test whether there is electric field or not. Since it is experiencing a electrostatic force, means of course there must be some electrostatic field, and if it is experiencing some force here, I say that okay, this force is Q naught E. What is this E? E is the electric field of source charge. What is this Q? Q naught is the test charge, and force is the force experienced by this test charge due to the source charge. Now one thing is clear, when test charge is experiencing a repulsive force F is equal to Q naught E, so how will the charge move? Along the field line, of course. And will the motion be accelerated? Yes, the motion will be accelerated. I can use the Newton's second law of motion by putting F is equal to ma and just rearranging the terms. So I'll get here Q naught E by m. This is the acceleration with which this test charge will move along the direction of electric field line. Up to which point will the charge move? Of course the charge will keep moving up to infinity. So the amount of the force will be more here at the point 1 and will keep on decreasing, but it will experience some force. This amount of electrostatic force will keep on decreasing when we move away from the source charge. So assuming that the source charge Q is there and there is a charge Q naught over here, and the Q naught will experience the force of repulsion, and assuming the force of repulsion that it will experience here is 10 Newton. This is the electrostatic force that this charge is going to experience, 10 Newton here. If I move further along the electric field line, the electrostatic force keeps on decreasing by the distance is increasing. So assuming that here the force is 9 Newton, here the force is 8 Newton, and so on, and it will reach up to infinity, and the force experienced at the infinity will be 0 Newton. Which formula has helped me in finding this force? I can use the Coulomb's law. Now under the influence of electrostatic force, the charge Q naught has reached infinity. Now my task is to bring the charge back to the initial position, that is from where it started. So isn't that I have to do some work, some force is to be applied from outside. So now I need to apply a force. This Fa is the applied force. So the force that I need to apply in moving the charge from this point to this point is, of course, minimum at least 8 Newton force is required. If I want to bring the charge up to this point, how much force is required? At least 9 Newton force. And if I want to bring the charge here at this point, at least 10 Newton force is required to move the charge from infinity to this specific point. Amount of force exerted on the charge Q naught by the source charge should be exactly same as that of the applied force. Only then the charge will come back to the original position. Of course the applied force can be more also, but I am taking the minimum value. So one thing is clear from here, that electrostatic force must be same as the applied force in case I want this charge Q naught to come to the initial position where it started. And when I am applying the force on the charged particle, isn't that I am doing some effort? And when I am doing the effort, that means that energy that work that I am doing on the charge, that will be stored in the form of potential energy here. And this is what my task is, that I have to find out the potential energy which is stored in the charge particle when I am doing applying some force from outside to bring the charge from infinity to any point in the electric field region of source charge. So how to define the electrostatic potential energy? We can define that it is the amount of work done in moving a unit positive test charge. From which point we are moving it? From infinity to any point. To any point in the electric field of what? Electric field of source charge. And the condition is that minimum applied force should be same as the electric force. That means the net force should be 0, and if net force is 0, that means what is the acceleration? If the force is 0, acceleration should be 0. So I can write down that it is the amount of work done in moving a unit positive test charge from infinity to any point in the electric field of source charge without any acceleration. That means acceleration should be 0. And what is the condition? When will we get the acceleration 0? When the electric force is same as the applied force. This is an important point that we'll be considering while the derivation. So let us go back to our 11th class where we studied the formula of the work calculation. The work done formula is force into displacement. I'll put a vector sign and a dot in between. Work done is a scalar term. Let us draw the diagram again very quickly. Source charge here. This is the direction of the electric field line, and at this point A there is some charge Q naught, and I want to bring it to a point B here. So I have to apply a force in this direction. Displacement is being covered in this direction shown towards the source charge. Now what are the different forces which are acting in the charge here? One is the electrostatic force which is acting in this direction, which is exerted by the source charge, and to move the particle Q naught from the point A to B, I need to apply a force. I need to exert a force from outside, and we call that force as applied force. So this is the applied force here. So let us put in all the values. सबसे पहले let us resolve this dot here. So let us resolve the issue. Since the displacement R we are taking as a very small displacement over there, so the formula can be modified as F dot dr, and this work will be the small work which is done in moving the particle from A to B. So when we resolve the dot here, what is the value of angle theta? Which force is this? We are talking the force which is the electrostatic force, of course. We are talking of the electrostatic force which is actually opposite to the applied force, and electrostatic force is opposite to the dr vector. Let us put the vector sign over here. So what is the value of angle theta? This force I am taking as the electrostatic force, so the value of theta here is pi. So when we resolve the issue, it comes out to be F dr cos pi, it comes out to be minus F dr. So what is the significance of minus sign? The significance of minus sign is that we have to do the work against the electrostatic force, and that is what we are doing. Electrostatic force is in this direction and we are applying the force in this direction, and that is why we took this force as the electrostatic force, and we are getting a minus sign over here. You all can note down the significance of minus sign, that it means that we are doing some effort against the electric force. So let us solve the issue. So since I have to calculate the net work done, so what will I do is that I will integrate both the side. So it is dW is equal to minus F dr, and we have to integrate from the initial point to final point. So what is my initial point in this specific example? A is the initial point and B is the final point. So we are integrating from A to B. Let us put the value of the force and solve it further. So putting the value of the force here, dW is equal to, force is the electrostatic force, K Q naught divided by, what is the distance? Let us take the initial, this distance to be r. So let me say that okay, this is r square and this was dr here, and we were integrating it. The initial point was A and the final point here is B. So let us make a small change over there. For example, here I took the initial point A. If I shift this point A at infinity, if A is shifted to infinity, isn't it that the charged particle will be moved from the infinity to the point B? So I am now moving from infinity. That will make a very small change here in the expression. Instead of A, I will write down infinity. So how to read this statement? That this is the work done in moving the charge from infinity to B in the electric field region of source charge. So when we solve it, I'll get here work done, which is the work that we are doing, and K is constant. Let us take it outside. Q naught both are constant. Minus sign of course is there, and this will be 1 by r square, and dr, from infinity to r we are moving. So when we solve the complete expression, what we will get here is K Q naught, and this is minus 1 by r, and the limit goes from infinity to r. So when we solve it further, what we will get here is, this is equal to minus K Q naught, and inside I will get here minus 1 by r, put a minus sign, and then minus 1 by infinity. And since this is infinity in the denominator, that this term comes out to be 0. So what my final expression comes out to be, work done is equal to minus K Q naught by r, minus and minus will make it plus, so a plus sign, or second term is 0 here. So look at this expression once again. Can we say that this is the potential energy at which point? At the point B. Let me say that okay, this distance here is r, and what is this, children? This is the potential energy at infinity, and this says that okay, work done is equal to potential energy at B minus potential energy at infinity, and this is what your work energy theorem is that you studied in your 11th standard. If I rewrite this comes out to be work done is equal to delta U. That means for the charge Q naught to stay here, I need to apply some force regularly, and if I am applying some force regularly at this point B, that means I am doing some effort. That means there is some energy stored at the point B, and that energy is this. So let us try and understand the work done and the electrostatic potential energy. This is the potential energy which is stored in the point B, and this is the work done that we are doing against the electric field of source charge in bringing the test charge from infinity. So there are certain points that we should always keep in mind regarding the work done. The very first point is that this work done or the potential energy, of course you know that they are scalar quantities. Second thing is, when we are calculating the work done or the potential energy, I should keep in mind the sign of Q and Q naught both. So when we are calculating the potential energy of the work done, I must put the values along with their signs here, Q and Q naught. And of course the SI unit is simple, that you have studied. The SI unit is joule. Simple. So from this knowledge of work done and the electrostatic potential energy, we can solve various questions of the combination of the charges. So we are going to do one such question here, wherein we have to find out the energy stored in that system. So assuming that you are given a question where a square is there, and at the vertices of the square, let me call the points as A, B, C and D, you have to put a charge of say +1 coulomb at each point. So when we are putting the charge of +1 coulomb at each point, then I'll say that okay, there is some potential energy stored in the system. How much is the energy stored in the system to have such an assembly of the charges, wherein the charges are kept at the four corners of the square? So to understand this question, we'll apply a logic here, assuming that there is initially no charge given there at the point B, C and D. Only 1 coulomb charge is there that I have brought from infinity to this particular point. Tell me, is there any other point in the vicinity? There is no other point in the vicinity. So the work done will be 0. That means the charge plus 1 coulomb will come without any effort. Effort is done only when some source charge is given. Since source charge is missing here, so the work done in bringing the charge here will be 0. So I'll say that okay, let us solve the issue side by side. Let us find out the potential energy, the total potential energy stored in the system. So the very first thing is that I have brought the charge 1 coulomb here at the point A. So I will say that okay, it is the potential energy which is stored at the point A. We'll put the values later on in the end. So first of all, let us prepare a formula. Now the second thing is, now I am given 1 plus 1 coulomb charge. Now from infinity to the point B, I want to bring plus 1 coulomb charge. Is it that I need to do some effort? Yes. Now I need to do effort. Why? Because there is a charge of plus 1 coulomb present already there in the space. So this plus 1 coulomb charge will act as a source charge to this charge which we have kept at the point B. So isn't that this charge, source charge, is having the tendency to repel it, and I need to do some effort against that repulsive force so that I can bring it at the point B. So the effort that I am doing will be stored in the form of potential energy. So I will say that okay, the second term here will be the potential energy stored at the point B due to the source charge A. Similarly, assume that now there is another plus 1 coulomb charge that I want to bring and put at the point C. When I want to bring this plus 1 coulomb charge here from the infinity and put it here, I have to do again a lot of work. Why? Because now for this charge, A and B both are acting as the source charges. A is also repelling this charge. I need to do some effort against the electrostatic repulsive force exerted by A, and B also is exerting some force here, which is again the repulsive force. That means it will be having a tendency to move in this direction. So I need to do some effort to hold the plus 1 coulomb charge here at the point C. So the potential energy now will be stored at the point C, and the potential energy is stored at the point C due to the presence of A, plus potential energy at the point C is there due to the presence of B. So the last case that we have to discuss is I have to bring this plus 1 coulomb charge at the point D from the infinity. What will happen? Will it stay here? It will be having a tendency to move in this direction. Why? Because A is exerting a repulsive force. It will have a tendency to move away, but I want the charge should not move and rather stay here. So the energy is stored at the point D due to the presence of A. Same ways B is also repelling the charge D and it will be having a tendency to move diagonally this way, but I want the charge should not move but it should stay here. So I have to do some work also against the electrostatic force exerted by the point B, the charge at the point B. Same ways the charge at the point C is exerting a repulsive force. So this charge 1 coulomb will again be having a tendency to move away from the source charge this way. But I want the charge should stay here. It should stay here. So I have to do some effort here due to the or against the electrostatic force exerted by the charge at point C. So let us write the terms for the charge at D. That means the energy stored at this point D due to the presence of A. Energy stored at the point D due to the presence of B. And the last term is energy stored at the point D due to the presence of C as well. So this is the entire equation that will be constructed here, and when we put the values, the sum total will give me the total energy which is stored in holding these charges at the 4 vertices of this square. So let us perform the calculation very quickly. What is this UA here, children? UA here is this was the charge that we established here, bringing it from the infinity. So the work done is 0 because the source charge was missing. So the energy, I need not do any work here. So the potential energy at the point A, this term will be 0 because the effort done was 0. What about UBA? It is the work done at the point B due to the presence of A. Assuming that it was a square and the dimension here of the square is say 1 meter. Dimension of the square is 1 meter. That is one side is 1 meter here. So what is UBA? Let us go back to the formula. The formula says the potential energy is K and the multiplication of both the charges. So charge at B 1 coulomb and the charge at A, which is also 1 coulomb, and divided by the distance between the two charges, which is 1 meter. So it comes out to be just K. UBA is just K. Same ways we can perform the calculation for UCA. So what is UCA here? UCA, the formula will be K, charge at C, which is 1 coulomb, and the charge at A is also 1 coulomb, so it is 1 into 1 divided by this distance between the two charges. So it is under root 1 square plus 1 square, so it comes out to be under root 2, because this is under root 2 here, under root 2 meters, since this is 1 meter and this is 1 meter. What about the next term, UCB? UC will be K 1 into 1 divided by the distance between C and B, which is 1 meter, divided by 1. Now the next term is UDA. Charge at D is 1 coulomb, so this formula comes out to be K 1 into 1 dA. The distance between dA is 1 meter again, so this is 1 here. So the next term is UdB, which is K 1 into 1 divided by, what is this dB? This is again under root 2. And the last term in this final expression is EDC, the work that we are doing in establishing this charge due to the presence of charge at C. So this will be K 1 into 1 divided by 1. So I am now ready with all the 6 terms with me, and I can put the values and get my final answer. So let us put all the values in the formula of the net potential energy and see what the final expression comes out to be. So this is zero plus K plus K by under root 2 plus K plus K plus K by under root 2, and the last term is K. So let us solve it, and what we will get here, K plus K plus K plus K. So this will give me 4K plus under root 2 and under root 2. So it is under root 2 times K, and the unit joule. That means, and here K here is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. So let us solve it further. So what we will get here is net potential energy is equal to 4 plus under root 2 into 9 into 10 raised to the power 9 joule. That means this much of the energy is stored in this system, which is having these 4 charges at the 4 corners of a square. Same ways you can try another numerical, wherein you are going to establish a charge of 1 coulomb each at the vertices of a equilateral triangle, taking the dimension of the triangle to be 1 meter. The other way you can say that, okay, that much is the amount of the work which is required to assemble such configuration. So the next topic we have to start with is electrostatic potential, and we have to start with the definition of the work that we did in bringing the test charge from infinity to any point P, and the point P is taken at a distance of r. This Q naught is the test charge and the value is plus 1 coulomb. Q is the source charge. In the formula that we derived was work done is equal to K Q naught by R. Now from here only we are going to derive the electrostatic potential. So from here the electrostatic potential, where at the point P is defined as work done in moving a charge from infinity. Which charge? Unit positive test charge from infinity to any point P. So this is the definition of the electrostatic potential. Let me repeat it, that this is the electrostatic potential is the work done in bringing a unit positive test charge from infinity to any point P in the electric field region of source charge without any acceleration. So the definition remains same. The only thing is that mathematical presentation changes. Various points that you need to remember regarding the calculation of electrostatic potentials are, like, electrostatic potential of course is 1 point, it is a scalar term. Though it is a scalar term, I need to put the charges. Which charge I am putting here in the formula? I will be putting the source charge value with their sign. Put the charge with the sign. So if I simplify the formula here, what will I get? I will get here, okay, this is K Q by R. Look at this formula. One more thing will be clear from the formula. Potential at the point P. Potential at the point P is the discrete property of source charge. So whatever is the test charge, that is not important to me. Look at the formula. It is K Q by R. That means the potential of a point depends only on the source charge and the distance of the point P from the source charge. Likewise, electric field also was a source charge dependent term. Potential also depends upon the value of the source charge and are independent of the test charge. Whereas when we are talking of the electrostatic potential energy, it involves both the source charge and the test charge. Now we are going to calculate electrostatic potential due to a system of charges. The easiest one is, let us consider the case of a dipole. So what is a dipole? You all are aware of the dipole here. It is an assembly of equal and opposite charges which are placed at a certain distance. I take the distance to be 2a, and the dipole, this distance is known as the dipole length, and the line which is perpendicular to the dipole length and passes through the middle point is known as the equatorial line. Say at this point P on the equatorial line, I need to find out the electrostatic potential. So the net potential at the point P is contributed by this negative charge as well as due to this positive charge. Let me call this point A and this is point B. So this is the potential at P due to A plus potential at P due to B. Let us put the formula, and this distance we are taking to be y. So the formula is electrostatic potential is KQ by R, where Q is the source charge. So KQ, charge on A. So what is the charge here? Minus Q, and I need to take the value with sign. Here I am writing the general formula KQ by R. I have to put the value of the charge along with its sign. So what is this charge at A? It is minus A. So I will be taking a minus sign into consideration. So it is minus KQ. And what is the distance of point P from this point A? This total distance is A, 2A. So this is A here. So the distance here is under root A square plus Y square. Let us put this value here. This is under root A square plus Y square plus what is this potential at the point P due to B? This will be K Q by the same term here, A square plus Y square. Isn't that both the terms are identical? Both the terms are identical, they will cancel out and the final result comes out to be 0. That means potential at the point P on the equatorial line will always be 0, no matter where this point P on the equatorial line. You can put the point here, here, here or anywhere. I can take the point P anywhere. I can prove easily that the potential at the point P is 0. The second case is the calculation of electrostatic potential at the point P, which is lying on the axial line of the dipole. Dipole length 2a, and assuming that from the point O the distance is x. So what is the potential, the net potential at the point P? Same initial equation. This is contributed by the potential at the point A due to the presence of A, and this is the second term is potential at the point P due to the presence of B. So let us put the values here. K, what is the source charge? What is the value here? This value here is minus Q. So it is minus Q. And what is R? The total distance between the two charges. I will take this distance x plus the distance A. So it will be x plus A. And this is the second term. What is this? K, and the source charge here is Q, And what is the distance? This distance, it is x minus a. When we solve the entire formula, the final result you can prove to be kq, and this is minus x plus a plus x plus a, and in the denominator it is x square minus a square. X cancels out here, and what we are left with is electrostatic potential at the point P is 2. So this is the final expression for the electrostatic potential on the axial line. This term here, since it's the dipole moment, so the formula comes out to be Kp divided by x square minus a square Vp. We can solve the electrostatic potential on the equatorial line and the axial line for the point dipole also. So when we are taking the case of the point dipole, you will have to say that okay, A is negligibly small than R, and you can find out the electrostatic potential for the point dipole.